of the Buddha. So we have to use the Buddha's teaching to help us to go beyond ourselves. If we did not use the Buddha's teaching, then if we still use our own teaching or our own view, then we stay in this ordinary stage. So always put in the cultivations to get towards enlightenment or awakening. And as we are awakened, like the Bodhisattva, they come back, they make the vows to come back to help or to assist, to benefit, to enlighten the ordinary. So when we are on the ordinary stage, we always feel difficulties to move towards awakening. That's why we have to cultivate. Venerable Master said, if every time we can endure it a little bit, we can tolerate it a little bit, then our level of cultivations go up by 5 to 10 years. You believe that? And when we are awakened and we're coming back again, we are coming back with a vow. So the same things does not seem to be that difficult anymore. So what is the example? Our students in the college, they come from the province, and Filipinos are mostly meat eater. So on their first day arriving, and these are 16 years old. These are college students are 16 years old, arriving from the different islands to Manila. Manila is very huge in grand to them because it's the capital. So on the first breakfast, they arrive the day before, the night before, some of them on the very same morning. We do the silent meal, so each of them are given a serving. So one of them look at the dish and start to have tears in the corner. So I asked, what happened? Are you missing your home? Or are you missing your mom? Then the tears got bigger. So then she finally said something very soft and maybe somewhat embarrassed. I cannot eat carrot. Because they are not vegetarian. I cannot eat carrot. Cannot. You just have to finish it. But then, see now it has been only 6 months, right? They are very happy eating like one bowl after the other using chopstick. So what is the difference? The difference is, so instead of, you have to finish your vegetarian dish. Instead of that, it is more on, you are the performing arts school student. Ours are dance, theater, and Buddhism. So performing arts. You have to look very slim for dancing. You have to look very good and light on the stage. When you jump. And they say, yeah, 师父, I have to. So you have to be vegetarian. See, that was a different. So now that when they are eating vegetarian food, they are like, oh, 师父, I like it so much. My teacher said that, our dance teacher said that, we are very focused. Yeah, vegetarian also help you to be very focused. So now that they know, vegetarian, now that they know, awaken to the benefit of vegetarian. So coming back to do ordinary things or to live in the ordinary world or to meet with the ordinary people, then it comes back with a vow that is with confidence. So I can do it. So the things used to be very difficult is no longer difficult. So that is transcends, or that has been cultivated, or that has been overcome. So that was why this is important. And if we can substand, and if we believe that Buddhism is to lead us towards Buddhahood. What is Buddhahood? So we phrase that. Buddhism is to lead us towards happiness. Buddhism is to lead us towards understanding, to see the truth, or to be clear, to be wise, to be compassionate, to be tolerant. is to lead us towards happiness, then we will have to cultivate. We cannot just stay on the ordinary level, because that stage is not going to help us to find or to seek or to submerge ourselves. So always reach across or go beyond and sustain it. Stay at that stage and being happy all the time. All right. So we have been very quick going through the introductions. So I would have to ask us. There is this worksheet on the second page. The worksheet 1 is a glossary, and I put up 10 boxes. And so while we are looking, the first page is the original scripture of the Sutra. It is on this one page, the 8 realizations. Then on the second page is the glossary. So you are given 5 minutes to go through very quickly on the Sutra and list out. We have to be productive. So we have to list out the Buddhist term that you may know or may not know from the scripture onto this box. So say for example, the Buddhist term, maybe Bodhisattva. So number 1, Bodhisattva. So the gray is the term and the white box is the definitions. So what does Bodhisattva mean? So by the end of these sections or by the end of these 2 days, you should already have a glossary for this sutra. Alright? You understand? So 5 minutes to go through the sutra and then list out the terms that you would like to know or you have already known. Okay? And then we'll come back and look at it together. And if you are done, after that, on the worksheet 2, there is a quiz. True or false? True, false section. You will have to fill that in. As a group, we will have to do grouping. Let's see, how do we do this? How do you do grouping usually? So why do we need to do grouping? Because if it's a false answer, then you have to identify why is it being false, or write out the true one. But most of all is on the next, the worksheet 3, on the third page. There is a box, an empty box that says learning, and it's split up into 4 sections. Observe, think, practice, affirm. Because we have to go through 2 realizations tonight, so as we read the first 2 paragraphs of this scripture, the first 2 paragraphs, we will have to discuss and write down what is the learning from the first realizations and from the second realizations. What did we observe? What did the Buddha say? So what did we observe? Or you can give an example. What did you observe based on what Buddha have said? For example, in the first realizations, realize that this world is impermanent. So, observe impermanence. This world is impermanent. Then we have the second box is to think. How is this being impermanent? Say for example, after flooding, just like our Abbess, Venerable Chen Fasu was here. She brought us 3 clips from the relief operations that she just came back from in Kelantan. And one of the pictures showed that a man was standing on a house. And the man said that, my house was on this location, but this is not my house. That means his house has already been washed away. And in that locations of his home, come another house flooding down. So the other's house is now, he's standing on, this is not my house was here. So impermanence. So that was the second box. So when would we observe that? Or what do we think about impermanence? Then how do we practice it? And can we affirm? So this is a practice of impermanence. And how do I affirm it? Confirm that this is so true. That means also how do you apply it in anywhere else? So I will ask Shelby, you help me to split the group. So we have about 5 minutes for the glossary, another for the second and the third. We will use we will work until 9:20. So we will regather back to the class. So from each group will meld back into one class. We will quickly go through, so we have like 10 teams, right, or 10 group. Another in 3 minutes. Let's go through the true and false first. What do you think? So number 1 for team 1 and number 2 for group 2. So number 1. And that's because?
Because this is for sure.
It's
Because the Sutra 是佛说八大人觉经，所以是佛说的。对。
Everyone agree? Yes. An Gao, the translator, he did not translate the initial part, but it was recorded. The Buddha has actually said, and who is the Tang Ji Zhong? They see every sutra. There is someone who asks. That's why Venerable Master, when you met him, you have to ask the questions. If no one asks the questions, the Buddha or the teacher would just be very quiet. It has to 因材施教, right? Or 因机说法. So who is the Tang Ji Zhong in this sutra? Is Anaruddha, right? Anaruddha. O Lü, O Na Lü, O Lü Na, O Na Lü, O Na Lü, O Na Lü. So one of the 10 great disciples. Very good. Team 2. The words. Who is going to speak?
Bodhisattva means enlightened being or enlightening being, truth.
Everyone agree? Yes. Thank you. Number 3.
The right in reciting a sutra shall be sincere and meditative.
Thank you. So we all agree to?
Yes.
Number 4.
Truth. This world is impermanent, discouraging us to make success which will not stay. Truth.
It's very tricky, right? Because there's a lot of negations, or what we call negations. So minus equal to So we have to read this sentence in two parts. This word is impermanent. Everyone's agree, right? So now that when we thought about impermanent, what do we have to think of? Venerable Master said, if time change, so change is important in what it means. So good will change into good will change into bad. Bad will change into very important. So what does that mean? It means impermanence give hope. Right? We always see towards and work towards positive. So that's why the second part, it becomes tricky. So what is the tricky part? Discouraging us to make success which will not stay. So when a lot of people, or some people might think, why do I bother working so hard? Because it will change anyway. Why do I bother trying so much? Because it's not going to stay like this. Why do I want to love you so hard? You will change your mind anyway. But the better way, see, Humanistic Buddhism or Venerable Master actually encourage us, right? We have to continue to love each other so that we are more connected, so that we find more harmonious or harmony in our relationships. So that's why the first part, impermanent, is actually to encourage us for success. So this the answer is false. Number 5.
Number 5 is true.
Right? Very important, because when we talk about emptiness, we always think of, because of the Chinese is tricky. Emptiness is the words kong. When we think about kong, we don't like. Kong means nothing, empty, right? Empty. But because we are disciple of the Buddha, so we have to now think of kong, something else, a new perspective or a new definition, not in our old dictionary. So when we think of kong, we have to read it like this. Emptiness embraces the boundless universe. That means it includes everything. Kong includes everything. It does not mean empty, or it does not mean nothing. It gives rise to all existence. Kong zhong miao yu. So everything that come about is because of Kong. Alright? One example that Dharma Master always uses is, if this room is not empty, how do we get together here? Or how do we get to have a meeting here? So because this room is empty, so we get to have this Dharma assembly. Because this lot is empty, that's why this temple could be built on it. Because your pocket is empty, that's why you can fill in a lot more money. So empty is good. So when we now read emptiness, we have to read it this way. So it embraces boundless universe. That means it's empty, it's full. It gives rise to all existence. Everything becomes possible. So this is constructive. Emptiness is constructive. This is also a way, when we talk about emptiness, that means all causes and conditions have to come together. And because of this, so we have to learn to collaborate with others. If you see that, it includes the universe and it includes existence. Existence is not just physical. Existence can also be a feeling of love, gratitude, humbleness, respect. It all grows out of this. So all of this goodness, or all of this feeling, and all of this existence, whether physical or formations or mental formations, all of this, it comes together because of interrelationships. So we have to threshold it. We have to threshold the all existence. whether it's physical, things that we can see or things that we don't see. What are the things that we don't see, say in this assembly? We did not see that someone actually come in earlier to sweep the floor or put on the flowers, but it's already here. Right? We did not see that those who, the constructor worker maybe, built this room and put in the sound system. We did not see, but it was here. So all of these conditions has lead towards or has accomplished for this assembly. So theme 6.
The human body is made up of physical and mental components. True.
And what is the Buddhist term for this? So when we say physical and mental components, how many components are there really?
5 every day.
5 everydays.
Yeah.
5 everydays. Very good. Number 7.
Self-centered and suspicions are the human characters that lead us toward Buddhahood. 4th.
So what are the characters that could lead us towards Buddhahood?
Wisdom and compassion.
Wisdom, compassion, tolerance, confidence, or a lot of the opposite of the two. Non-self lead us towards Buddhahood. Number 8.
Middle way between dualistic extremes is practiced to counteract the imbalances in life. True.
True. Give us an example. Do we have an imbalance in life?
Just like we bring an instrument, the string cannot be too high and too loose. Must be in the middle way.
So no attachment and do not attach and do not attach. All right. So we have a complete, and I will have to wrap up tonight. We are 10 minutes over, but thank you very much for the sections. So when we come back tomorrow, very, very quickly, we will have to go through So when we come back tomorrow, we'll do a quick wrap up. So you will have to go home and study the first 2 realizations. You finish the first 2 realizations. So when we come back, we'll have to talk about the rest. Because the rest is actually present in the next half of the worksheets on the teaching sections. So you may finish off the box. What are the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th realizations that you might find in your everyday life? That you read it here and then you say, that is so true. I see it in my grandson. That is so true. I see it in myself. So the realizations that you would want to bring back to share with others. Then the bottom half, they are the questions, and I want to bring your attention to question number 8. Answer to this sincerely, because this 6th part of questions number 8 is going to point out, or is going to show how we put and practice the rest of the realizations, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. These realizations are actually on the practice of the 6th paramita. And one of the questions that a lady asked just now was, is this sutra Buddha speak it to human? What do you think? Is Buddha taught this to human, right? Did Buddha teach it to the rest of the Buddhas? Or maybe Bodhisattva? Or do we say one of us decide that, I don't want to be a Buddha or Bodhisattva, so maybe this is not for me? Maybe not, right? Maybe not. Why do we practice, or why do we live in 21st century? That's because we all know that we are all connected to each other. Humans are connected to humans. No matter how much I like computers or how much I like cell phones, machines, technology,